I had to find the stuff that I got from, it's probably packed away though, that I got from JDL. But I'm in the getting ready to move, so a lot of it got packed away. And then this is the end of it. Oh, nope, I take that back. I forgot about my head.
Yeah, I would hope it would be on your shoulders.
Oh no, this head.
Oh, that's cool as hell.
All right, which one's yours? Olivia? Okay. So yours is right behind the pizza.
Now these are the micro minis.
That's cool.
These are not for young kids. These are a choking hazard to young
Yeah, I
kids.
wouldn't give Bubba that.
I like the micro mini ducks. They have baby ducks. What is that?
Hey, Kentucky girl. It's a cat.
What the hell?
That thing,
skeleton
so that's
cat.
like I was gonna say that has to be a skeleton cat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool.
That's cute. It's like a baby pocket knife.
And it's not, it's sharp right here, but it's not on the sides. So
Yeah, I ain't
as
giving
a
that to
parent,
Bubba.
you could take and you could doll that down, but
Oh, that's cute.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
I'm about to say, is that a Pokemon or a reindeer? It's a chameleon throwing up.
The chameleon sticking his tongue out.
Oh.
You
Yeah. Who is Key Change?
One of my friends.
You know him?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you can't bring him up, can you?
Yeah, I can. What happened?
Was it marinara?
Oh my God. So
Evidently they didn't put it on there.
right before I went into surgery, my friend David's sister called me and she was very upset about the Blessings for Bosie project. And she was like, I think you're just trying to become a creator now and make money off of my brother. And so I called David's mom and I'm like, what is happening? You know, I've been very open about the whole process. Like, this is supposed to be a healing journey. Everybody's so excited. Like, what's going on? And his mom was like, you know, Crystal's just crazy. His death day just passed. Everybody's tensions are high. Give her time to calm down. You have to go in for back surgery. Like, just relax. So I go in and have the surgery, and then I come out, and I message his mom again because my anxiety is so high because, you know, I've been putting 22 hours a day into this project. I've been working so hard, and, like, I don't want to let anybody down. I'm worried because Crystal's upset, and I'm like, I don't want anybody to be upset.
To begin with, I denied her the first time.
Right. Right.
Because this is your life, and this was, you know, You
Right.
were unboxing stuff, and I wasn't
But
trying to disrespect that.
But see, what, let
But
me explain.
she's right.
Okay.
She's right. It
I'm
is
hoping,
my
no,
fault.
hold on. No, let me explain something. Let me explain something. And I'm not going to explain away what she just did because I 100% agree with what she just did. So don't think I'm explaining away. Anyone in here don't think I'm explaining away what she just did because I 100% agree with what she just did. But I understand what the reason that I allowed that person that I did not allow to come in to the box, but yet I did not allow Megan in here. Let me explain why I did that. Megan caused me a whole lot of rift in my life. And I'm still not comfortable with her.
Give me one
I am
second.
trying to regain. I am trying to regain my life back. Megan is not the only one on TikTok that caused a major pain in my life. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Not at all.
I can safely
Why am I not
say
ashamed to admit
it is a struggle. It is a struggle because I had to be put on medication for that. And when I got pregnant, I had to get off of it. So I do understand the struggle. That I do understand.
It is a struggle. But the best way for a person to help somebody else is to tell their story. And if you hide behind your disease, you're using it as a crutch. It's a crutch. I don't use it as a crutch.
You should never let it overrun your life and rule your life.
100%. 100%. You're right. Now, I'm going to say one thing. We have 6 people in here. I have 9 boxes. I am going to, under these rules only, and I do have my one and only, if not 2, I have 2 mods that are allowed to kick out. 2 mods that are allowed to kick out. I'm going to open my boxes. My daughter and my other mod that is in the chat are the only 2 that are able to kick out. I'm going to open my boxes. If you are for any reason needing to talk, you hit that invite and we'll bring you up and you can talk. But the minute you get out of hand, you're dropped. No questions asked. And if
I
you
have a
guys see him,
question.
go ahead.
Could you take away my mod powers, please? I'm asking.
Can I?
Would
Did I?
you please? No, would you
Would
please?
Well, I can.
I
Why?
would appreciate it.
Okay. The only reason that I'm saying those 2 that are banned are okay. Well, I'll do it after bit.
Shit!
What the hell,
Rogue?
Rogue?
Sorry, I was about to drop a pizza on the floor. I'm sorry.
Dude, don't do that to me.
I'm sorry. No, to know Giggles really well, and then I got to know my buddy Michael really well. And when I first met Corey, I was still living at my dad's house, and I was only allowed to be on Xbox for umpteen amount of minutes a day. And it's kind of hard to talk about, but at the same time, it's something that needs to be said. Empress doesn't even know why me and Corey are so good friends. And I was trying to get her to come back in so she could hear the reason why, but she's dealing with what she's dealing with. When I was 16, my father had massive seizures and he was on multiple, and when I say multiple, I'm talking about like 23 different drugs for seizures, pain,
Oh, okay.
a whole bunch of other things. And it was making him to where he would lose days at a time. And him and my stepmom got into it one night, and he was cleaning his pistol in the living room. And I was in my room, and I remember it vividly. I was in my bedroom, and I had been home from school for about 3 hours, and I decided, oh, well, I'm going to paint a picture because I like to paint. And I was doing a painting of a lighthouse, just a simple lighthouse with, no water. It was just the lighthouse itself. And all of a sudden, I'm in there, and I just got off the phone with my mom, and my mom lived way an hour and a half away from me. And I hear this loud pop. So right after the pop, I hear my stepmom screaming bloody murder. So, of course, my dumb self at 16 didn't know what to do, so I ran into the living room. My
No, you
dad,
didn't.
oh, yeah, I did. Because I wanted to see if
Well,
she
good
was
for you.
okay. My dad
Oh, yeah,
had
okay.
had discharged his weapon in the house, supposedly, according to him, accidentally. And it had hit, it went off, it hit the pot hanging off underneath the counter cabinet behind him, and then ricocheted and came back and hit my mom in the side of the head. I walk in the living room. She's in there. She's crying and screaming and holding her head. I go over there and move her hand. And that was the first time I had ever seen anybody actually injured. She was extremely lucky. She had the grace of God watching out to her because it had grazed the right hand side of her head. And she had an indentation in the side of her head where her temple was.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at a message.
Oh no, you're good. So
Go
anyway,
ahead.
I turn
I'm
around and
sorry.
I look at my dad, and it's the first time I've ever said a cuss word. And of course, I'm completely out of it. I don't know what's going on. I'm just mad because she's been shot in the head and he's got a gun in his hand. And I turn around and I look at him and I go, "What the fuck did you do?" And he turns around, and he had already had the chamber empty and the clip out of the pistol, and he reloads it and he racks it back and he puts it to my forehead and he pulls the trigger.
Oh, hell no.
And it clicks.
Good
And
night, Wizard. Thanks for coming in.
to this day, I know I was being watched out for. And I now have PTSD in part from my dad, but in part from um, the military. But when I say that I was abused as a kid, there are things that when I tell people what happened to me, they're just like, "Oh, I can't believe that. I think you're full of crap." And I'm like, I don't care if you believe it or not. What I'm telling you is the truth. And I like how you said the things that happened in your past are who you are, but they don't define you.
Right.
I could be scared of pistols and rifles and weapons of all.
Hey, I wasn't even thinking about. I make the same mistake.
Right.
I'm new to it
I'll,
too,
I'll,
so
I will censor that in the future. Um, but I decided when I ended up with the PTSD, I decided that I was not going to let it be a crutch, and I went in the military, and I used the fact that they have to use those items for training, and you have to pew pew down the range and all of that. I used it as a strength. So yes, I now have PTSD, but I can fire my pew pew without being scared of it. I can carry my pew pew without being afraid of using it. And everybody's like, well, how did you do that? How did you break yourself from your PTSD? It has nothing to do with the fact that I've broken my PTSD, because I haven't. I still have it. Loud noises when I'm asleep will still scare the living bejeebies out of me and wake me up, and I'll sit straight up with a night sweat, and I'm shaking like a leaf, and I can't breathe, and I'm
and you can't go
flashing
back to sleep,
back.
and you
Yeah,
won't
and
go back to sleep.
no, ma'am, I can't go back to sleep. I have to go and sit in the living room for 4 or 5 hours just being able to calm myself down, and it still don't work. But
Yep,
that doesn't
yep,
mean that I'm scared of the item that did that to me. Does it
right.
mean that if my dad was still here, because that's what's wrong? And I ignored him. And he left me alone for probably about an hour. And then he sent me another message. And he's like, okay, I know you're going through a hard time. I don't know what it's about. I don't know who did it. He said, but if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here for you always. I replied back to him. And ever since then, me and Corey have been the best of freaking friends, because if it hadn't have been for him, I would have given up.
Yeah, my kids were probably a big savior for me. Um, but
They make you laugh when you don't even expect it. They can do the craziest things, and you could be in the maddest, most irritated, annoyed mood, and they can do something, and it'll fall away from you.
I do not what. I just got a message across the top of my screen that said something about a unicorn, and I have no idea what it just said. All I caught was something about a unicorn.
A unicorn.
I'll look at it later. I have no idea what it meant, but
One of those random notifications that just scrolls down and says, you have a notification. Unicorns.
yeah. I mean, I don't. I have no idea.
Mine just said Boom 51 sent TikTok universe. That's the only notifications I've been getting.
No.
As long as they have a support system or somebody that's at least trying to look out for them, they can make it through anything. Don't give up. Life
Yeah,
life can always get
100%.
better.
Yeah.
Because if I hadn't have changed my mind the night my daughter walked in, and if I hadn't have called my mom the night my dad pulled the pew pew on me, and my boyfriend pulled the pew pew on me about 4 years later than that, if I hadn't have made a decision and got a hold of a friend of mine that was really close, we're not close now, but she was at the point in time. If I hadn't have
I see you,
contacted her
Megan.
and
I'm
talked to
not ignoring
her,
you.
then I wouldn't have the life that I have now. I have a full-time job. I'm a mom of two. I have a brand new truck that I can afford by myself. I have a husband who dotes on me and loves the hell out of me. And it's just like, if I hadn't have made the decision to be a better me and lean on my support system, I wouldn't be here today with what I have. Don't get me wrong, I have bad
Right.
days, and there's days that I do want to give up. But those days are when I contact my friends and my family that are still around, and just talk to them. It doesn't even have to be about what's going on, which is what is making me down. Just talking to them relieves so much stress, and then it makes me feel better, and then I feel like, okay, maybe I was overreacting in just a little bit, in the heat of the moment, and maybe life isn't as bad as it was, and let's see if we can just make it a little bit better. And then I remember everything that I have got good going for me, and it's like, I don't want to
Right.
give this up. I want to keep going. As bad as it gets, I want to keep going, and I want to live my life to the fullest that I can with the people that actually care.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to start what I'm doing here. I have trust issues, and a lot of people, I'm not big. If you lose my trust, it ain't getting it back. You won't get it back. There isn't no earning it back. I won't trust you again. But that being said, that doesn't mean that I cannot be social. It just means that I won't trust you. But it also means that I don't live in my past. I don't live for what happened to me in the past. But what I do with my past,
Oh, you said doo doo.
what I do with my past is I tell my story not
To help
as
others.
of how I was as a victim, but how I am as a survivor.
Yeah, and
Because
your
I am a
story will
survivor. I'm
help
not a
your
victim.
yeah, and your story will help others to realize that if you
As
can
does yours.
survive it, if you can survive it, so can they.
And when back in the 90s, when I was going through the last bit of it, at one point in time, I was taking 100 milligrams of amitriptyline just to be able to control the night terrors that I was having. Not nightmares, night terrors. I would beat up my husband. Literally, in my sleep, I would beat him up. I sleep with a 12-pound weighted blanket on me every night. We sleep in the same bed, but yet under different covers. Just so I don't beat him up. Because if I have a night terror, I don't know that I'm going to. I don't know when I'm going to.
Yeah, they're
But
unpredictable.
if I do, and I get vicious, I'm going to beat him up, and I don't want to. The weighted blanket keeps me from doing it.
Yeah,
And that's because
it
of my
makes you feel
PTSD.
secure. I have the
And
same thing in my room. I sleep. Me and my husband sleep in the same bed, but I have my weighted blanket on my side because, and
yes,
he's physically seen me wake up and go to punch him, and I'm not realizing what I'm doing because I'm not me at that point in time. And it's just
right.
a security thing. It's like it holds you. It holds you not. It don't hold you down, but it gives you that sense of security so you can do what you need to
Oh
do.
no, oh no, it's heavy. It's heavy. It holds me down. Actually, I could put my screen up so I don't have to keep bending over. Because I keep bending over so I can smoke my cigarette. I done got. There we go. But um, when
There's a lot of people that have PTSD that have security items. Mine is actually a pillow that I got given right after the incident happened. My stepmom gave it to me. And I cannot sleep without that pillow. That pillow is my security blanket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Me, um, it's just the weighted blanket. I mean, I went to, well, when I went to my daughter's house, I was up there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Hell if I know. I don't know. Anyway, I was up there for a while. And I didn't have it. But I didn't have to really worry about beating anybody up because I was sleeping on her very comfortable couch. If I could have her couch at my house, I wouldn't mind it at all. Very comfortable couch to sleep on. And for somebody with a back problem and saying it's a very comfortable couch to sleep on, it's a very comfortable couch to sleep on. And I said that very fast and didn't twist my tongue. That was pretty good. But that was the only time that I've been without it. Normally, even if I go on a trip somewhere, I take my blanket with me.
Oh, I do. I take my pillow with me every time I go on a trip.
I got onto a Greyhound bus. I was not carrying a 15-pound blanket with me.
No.
Not on it. Not a happening. Nah. Plus, I would have put my baggage over weight. But they would have wanted to know why I was carrying glass. Because that's what's in a weighted blanket. But we have survivors. I used to go to, back when it first happened, my last incident, well, not the last one because that was my landlord, my last husband. I divorced him in 96. I lied. I divorced him in 2000. Anyway, when I got rid of that idiot,
She said she already ordered.
When I was done with that problem, I was able to start trying to work things out, but I was so far into depression and PTSD that I went to a therapist for counseling, and I could not make a bond enough to where I could look the counselor in the face and tell her what was going on in my brain. I have the type of brain that there's constantly something going on in my brain. I cannot shut my brain off. It will not shut off. No matter what I try to do, it will not shut off. And I don't have ADHD. Well, I haven't been tested for it. I think I do have, but I haven't been tested for it. So, but my brain will not shut off. Constantly going. The one therapist had a big stuffed animal, a stuffed bear. I would sit for the hour and I would talk to this bear with my back to the therapist. She was the only person allowed to sit behind me. She was able to ask me the questions from behind me.
But you had to talk to the bear.
But I had to talk to the bear. I could not look at her. could not look at her and give her the answers.
Well, that's like when I go to a restaurant. I cannot physically sit in a booth where there are people walking or being
Nope.
behind me. I have to
Nope.
be
Yep.
in a booth that is literally touching the wall.
Yep.
People walk behind me here
Yeah.
at work and they'll look at me like I'm nuts because they're walking behind me and
I'll spin around.
I constantly
I'll
have my
spin
head on
around
a
on 'em.
swivel. It's just like, well, what are you doing, you weirdo? No, I'm not weird. I just have issues.
Welcome in, everybody. I think they're scanning through. I don't think they're actually staying. But yeah, it took me 55 years to finally be able to open up to a therapist. And this one that I have here, I moved from the town that I was in to a 2-hour drive from the clinic that I see her from. We have our visits on Zoom. And when I had to go house hunting, my therapist, even when I wasn't in a meeting with her, was looking for houses for me to move to. And she's currently back at it again because I have to move again. And this time it is due to a health issue in this house. There is mold in this house, and my landlord will not fix it, and the health department will not come down on him.
My mom had that issue
Or
when she moved
the
from her
city
house for
inspected.
16 years. It had black mold in the basement and her landlord wouldn't fix it.
Yep, we have it here. And my daughter has seen it. Farrell family has seen it. She was here when the inspectors were here, and they were talking bullshit about me when I was inside my house. And she stood up for me and told them that they needed to wait till I came outside. And then because they started talking about my mental instabilities, she ordered me to stay in the house. And it was all caught on video.
Yeah, that's
I
like
have it
my
all on
husband.
video.
He knows what will trigger me and what won't trigger me. So like if I'm in a situation and he sees that I'm about to be triggered, he'll stop or remove whatever's about to trigger me.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I get paranoid sometimes about people talking about me behind my back. It's just something
Mm-hmm.
that freaking happens. But he can see that that's happening, and he'll remove the trigger of whether it's a person or an item or something like that. He will literally like go and remove what's about to trigger me, or he'll say, "Hey, don't come over here because such and such."
Right.
To find somebody like that
Hey,
I have
Raymond.
now that is that kind of person that's willing to um put their not really their life on the line, but to be there and know what I'm going through and be willing to put themselves in between the issue and me is I honestly, when I first got with him, I never would have thought I would ever be with a person like that would actually love me for me with all my issues and my quirks and my stuff that I go through on a daily. But when to have him now and to see what he actually does on a daily to help me through my situations, it, it's phenomenal. And it took me we've been together 7 years, we've been married 3. And that right there tells you, it took me a long time to be able to trust him enough to let him have my back to that point. Because I wouldn't go to a grocery store. I wouldn't go to a restaurant. I wouldn't go to a friend's house and see them. I was kind of like a recluse. I was staying in my house.
Yep.
I didn't want to talk to nobody. Didn't want to get on TikTok. Didn't want to get on my games. Didn't want to talk to nobody because I was afraid that if I said something wrong or I said it in a wrong kind of manner, they would start talking about me behind my back and it would trigger me. I'm grateful now to have him. He's my lifesaver. He doesn't realize how much he is, but he is my lifesaver. Because without him, there's a lot of days I don't want to get out of the bed.
Yeah, I'm pretty much a um stay at home. I try not to go outside my door. Um, if I have to go outside my door, it is got to be a reason that is because I cannot do anything but go outside my door.
It's a have to situation, not a want
I
to situation.
I cannot have it delivered, or I have a doctor's appointment. Because if it can be delivered, it's
You don't
delivered.
need to go.
Because this chick ain't going into the public. I hate people, and you can't fix stupid. Not even with duct tape.
This is very true.
And I love the TikTok shop, and they have wonderful coupons. But she, that therapist that I have now is just